Yes, there's been a lot of talk online about the comparisons to Caleb Williams to Patrick Mahomes. And yeah, we can all agree these assumptions are, let's say, the very least, premature. I mean, we can agree on that. But they're going off of the similarities as far as how they approach plays when plays break down, when plays go the way they're supposed to go, versus how when plays break down and how the QB has to improvise just to make the shit work. That's the only thing they're talking about. They're not saying that without a shadow of a doubt, this dude is going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Because let's face it, when Patrick Mahomes was in college, we didn't even know he was going to be Patrick Mahomes. We didn't know that shit. We did not know. And then next thing you know, he's playing the Super Bowls all the damn time. So we gotta fall back on the assumptions with that, you know. But what we not gonna do is be like, oh, without a shadow of a doubt, Justin Fields is the guy. We need to stick with him and this and that. He's the worst quarterback in the division. He's in the top 5 in the whole league in meaningful QB stats. It's not just reading numbers and just going strictly off the numbers, this and that. And oh, you shouldn't, the numbers are misleading and he's better than that. He's actually not better than that. He's very inconsistent. He's great when you're talking about his legs, but let's talk about his arm. So you mean to tell me he has to run all the time in order to win? So if you need him to throw your team to a victory, can he do it? I'm going to say no. He's had 3 years to prove it. And if you still have a question mark in your brain as to whether or not he's the guy, that means he is not the guy. Period. That just means he's not the guy. And as we sit here on this Super Bowl weekend, we reflect on our favorite teams, especially if your team is not playing in the Super Bowl tomorrow, you're looking back at your team and comparing them to these two teams. How can my team be there next year? And I guarantee you, if you're a Bears fan like me, you know you can't do that with Justin Fields. We know that already. And it's sad that you still got a whole bunch of fans swimming in their stupidity soup of goop. That, hey, let's give him a chance. Let's get Marvin Harrison Jr. You put all these pieces around him and he'll be fine. Wait a minute. Do you not understand what the quarterback position in the NFL entails? Do you not understand that? If he's good, you can have crap receivers and even a crap running back. And because of his ability, his gift to uplift those those skill positions, because of his gift to uplift, that team is in the playoffs because of the quarterback, not the other way around. Let me ask y'all this. Out of all the generational can't miss wide receivers that has ever been drafted in the history of the league, has that wide receiver led that team to a Super Bowl title if the quarterback was trash? Tell me that. Because there's numerous occasions and situations where the opposite has happened. Didn't Aaron Rodgers win a Super Bowl against the Steelers with one of the worst offensive lines in the history of the NFL. It might not have been last that year, but it was by far the worst offensive line to play in a Super Bowl, in a Super Bowl win. And somehow Aaron Rodgers managed to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl with that crap offensive line. That's how you know when you got the guy at quarterback. But when it comes to Justin Fields, you got these Justin sexuals that they maintain that everything has to be fucking perfect in order for that nigga to be able to win. If that's the case, then he's not the guy. He's not the guy that you thought he was. And he will never be the guy that you want. But what do I know? We just sit here and we listen to you, Justin sexuals, you Fields fuck boys in the fan club of Justin, waving your pom-poms, and it doesn't matter what he does, if he's good, if he's bad, if he's so-so, if he's mediocre. It doesn't matter because it's Justin. Y'all dumb as fuck. But that's just my opinion on this Super Bowl weekend. I just don't get some of y'all Bears fans, why y'all just love to mire and mush around in mediocrity and just accept the status quo because it's comfortable and it feels good. So let's not change it too much. Let's just remain right here because it's very warm and cushiony and it feels good. Let's just, we can do what we've been doing. We don't have to win the Super Bowl. Says who? Says who? That's why we are here. That's why we compete. That's why we go out on. That's why football players go out on the gridiron and they play these games because they want to win the Super Bowl. And if you have a player or players on your team that are content, satisfied with the status quo, they don't care about being a mediocre team because they're getting paid. They're getting a paycheck. So they don't care whatsoever. Those are the kind of players that you don't want on your team. They are team cancers. They will drag down your team at any given time because they don't care. They're getting paid. As you look at the Chicago Bears, you look at Eddie Jackson. As soon as he got his money, he turned into mush. Mush. And it's not just me thinking or just saying something. Look at the timeline. When Eddie Jackson got his money, when the Bears gave him that extension, and he got the money that he was asking for, add that up to his play on the field. All of a sudden, he didn't know how to tackle. All of a sudden, he wasn't making those interceptions anymore. He wasn't ball hawking in the secondary anymore. If he's one-on-one with the running back, he'll throw his arm out there like, oh, he got by me. That's his body language. The body language he showed on the field after he got paid. Just goes to show you, you can't always pay everybody. Everybody don't deserve that dime. No, they don't deserve that dime. Some people, you got to starve them out with pennies because As soon as they get their money, they gonna bullshit around. They gonna bullshit around. That's for real though. And Eddie Jackson did exactly that. See, and it just goes to show you that a lot of people probably want to keep Eddie Jackson around because he's comfortable. He's used to the system. He's a nice guy. You know, we should keep him around and all that, this and that. Nah, we don't do mediocre over here. If you ain't cutting it, you gotta go. You gotta go. So hopefully they cut Eddie Jackson and what's his name, Mustipher. Get some cap relief. So that's extra money. Whether they want to use that on Jalen Johnson or not, I don't know. I'm in between on that because this nigga want to be the highest paid cornerback in the league, and I don't know if we should do that or not. But I'm glad I'm not making that decision. I tell you that damn much. But and then you got motherfuckers that want to ride it out with Justin. It's like, well, if he doesn't work out this year, we can get a quarterback next year. Next year, we not going to have the number one pick. We might be in the 20s. And a lot of people will be like, well, Brock Purdy wasn't a first-round pick. They always want to go to the exception to the rule to prove the point. And that's exactly why the Bears have always been mediocre, because you tend to have executives and ownership that think the same way and wonder why they're not winning. And the fan base is to blame. You meatball, brainless, spineless jellyfish of a fan base. You are the problem too. Because you settle for mediocrity. Oh, Justin is he's a leader in the locker room. He's great in the community. Let's stick with him. Even though he's basically a running back that can throw the ball a little bit. You mean to tell me you can't find somebody like that in free agency that can at least do what Justin does? Because I tell you what, if he injures his knee, his ankle, his lower extremities in any kind of way, he's not leading you to any victories at no point. None. He's not leading you to any victories at all. He's going to lead you to a lot of defeats because he can't throw you to victories. And that's the name of the game in the NFL. As an NFL quarterback, you have to be prolific with your arm in some kind of way in order to win a Super Bowl. Because as I'm speaking, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I'm talking about winning the Super Bowl. Y'all talking about just being regular. I can't relate to that. I don't want regular. I want trophies, not participant trophies. First place trophies. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game, baby. But let me guess. I'm talking out of the side of my neck. I should revert back to mental adolescence of settling for mediocrity, because that's what it seems like a lot of Bears fandom is about. I'll give you an example. I made a comment in this off-brand group on Facebook in regards, like, before the season ended, me personally, I'm thinking about the bigger picture. I'm thinking about the number one draft pick. So I'm like, at this given time, The Packers were playing the Carolina Panthers. So in that game, even though the Packers are in our division and they're a sworn rival, I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. But in this particular instance, it is to the Bears' benefit and Bears fans' benefit, Bears Nation benefit if the Packers win that game. That's all I was saying. But yet you got all these idiot, goofball, marble brain misfits that want to get on me. Fuck the Packers and wow, never root for the Packers and this and that, blah, blah, this and that. And if Carolina had won that game, we'd be stuck at the number 3 pick probably. And a lot of y'all will settle for that because y'all used to settling for mediocrity, which is probably how your life in general is going. And you translate that and smooth that over to the sports realm of where we're at now, which is why you say the dumb shit that you say all the fucking time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to start me a sports channel, podcast, or whatever you want to call it, because I'm tired of reading all the dumb shit in these groups on Facebook that I come across. I'm embarrassed and all that shit. You so-called Bears fans are the dumbest people I've ever come across in my life. And now I'm gonna roast y'all into oblivion on YouTube. Welcome to the inferno, bitches. Y'all all finna get this smoke. That being said, Uncut Sports, no feelings. I'm out.